Hello everyone, this is Sudhir Kumar Dwivedi, Assistant Professor of Law from Gemtech School of Law, Greater Noida. The topic for today's lecture is Impact of Social Media in the Law of Evidence under the subject Law of Evidence. Today is the age of information technology, and we know the focus of the country is on agenda Digital India. The legal field is also moving towards the digitalization of legal work. E-courts are being established. When the court is moving towards the digitalization, the pertinent question arises as to how much weightage should be given to such digital evidence in the court. The relevancy and admissibility of digital evidence is no more controversial after amendment of IT Act 2000, along with the amendment in the Indian Evidence Act 1872. So now the digital evidence has been declared as relevant and admissible. How reliable they are, that is something different matter. Relevancy and admissibility of digital evidence. Acceptance of digital evidence in court depend on fact whether the evidence is relevant, whether it is authentic, whether it is hearsay, if yes, whether a copy is acceptable or the original is required. So relevancy and admissibility of a digital evidence has to be seen in the light of section 3, section 5, section 65A, section 65B and 136 of the Indian Evidence Act 1872, as well as on general principle of evidence that all admissible facts are relevant but all relevant facts are not admissible. Acceptance of digital evidence in court depends on the various facts. We discussed these points, that not only it is that it has been declared relevant that it would be relevant, it has to satisfy some other rules which are associated, like the requirement of certificate under section 65B and all things, and it has to satisfy other the rules like the rules of hearsay evidence and all. And if it is falling in the category of the exception, then what is the rule for this acceptance? So digital evidence as a documentary evidence has been made relevant under section 17 of the Indian Evidence Act in the form of admission. As per section 17, a statement, oral or documentary, or contained in electronic form which suggests any inference as to fact in issue or relevant fact is relevant. As per section 22A, which deals with the relevancy of oral evidence as to the contents of electronic records, make it clear that oral admission as to the contents of the electronic records are not relevant unless the genuineness of the electronic record produced in question. In the same way, section 39, which deals with the statements that forms part of longer statement or a conversation or part of an isolated document or is contained in a document that forms a part of book or series, letters or paper, specify it that when any statement of which evidence is contained is part of electronic record, evidence must be given of such much and no more of the electronic record as the court considers necessary in that particular case to full the understanding the nature of and effect of the statement and of the circumstances under which it was made. Before the Information Technology Amendment Act 2000, evidence of electronic record was adduced through printed reproduction or transcripts. the authenticity of which was certified by a competent signatory. The signatory uh, would identify his her signature in court and be open to cross examination. This simple procedure met the condition of both Section 63 and Section 65 of the Indian Evidence Act. But IT Amendment Act has inserted two new evidentiary rules in the form of two new sections, that is Section 65A and Section 65B, for electronic records in the Indian Evidence Act 1872. Section 65A of the Indian Evidence Act performs the same function for electronic records that Section 61 does for the documentary evidence. It is only after the Amar Singh versus Union of India case, in which the Supreme Court held that the provisions of Section 65A and Section 65B of the Indian Evidence Act created a special law that overrides the general law of documentary evidence. Proof of electronic record is a special provision introduced by the IT Act amending various provisions under the Indian Evidence Act. The very caption of Section 65A of the Indian Evidence Act, read with Section 59 and Section 65B, is sufficient to hold that the special provision on evidence relating to the electronic record shall be governed by the procedure prescribed under Section 65B of the Evidence Act. That is a complete code in itself. Being a special law, the general law under Section 63 and Section 65 has to yield. Now, electronic message as a digital evidence. Interpretation of Section 2, Subclause 1 and Subclause T and I of the IT Act makes it clear that mobile phones are included in the definition of computer, and that's why SMS, WhatsApp, Facebook, and email messages are treated as electronic record. So, such electronic record as electronic messages would be admissible as a document under Section 65, read with Section 65A and Section 65B of the Indian Evidence Act 1872, provided that the conditions of sections are fulfilled. Under the provisions of Section 88A, there is a presumption that an electronic record message forwarded by the sender through an electronic mail server to the addressee to whom the message fed into his computer for transmission. However, there is no presumption as to the person by whom such message was sent. This provision only presumes the authenticity of the electronic message and not the sender of the message. Evidentiary value of social media posts. Criminal procedure jurisprudence explains the evidentiary value that social media posts carry. Certainly, there are advantages and good policy reasons for assessing social media evidence used in criminal proceeding. For example, photos can be uploaded quickly and shared within seconds. This alerts authorities regarding crimes in progress or even those already commissioned. Assessing the information in a permissible manner is the key when it comes to the admissibility of social media evidence. More often, a lawyer investigating a case needs to assess the public portions of an individual social media account and try to recognize if any their social media profile may have evidence relevant to a case or not. Since 2000 in India, we have formed a separate division of cyberspace crime investigation along with a separate legislation which is called the Information Technology Act 2000. This is substituted by another supplementary cyber laws to deal with such offenses. Hardly any time such cases are brought to the notice of a special court. The screening process involved in admission of all online articles, messages, and posts for the admissibility remains the same as detailed in section 22A of the Indian Evidence Act. There are some important cases like Romano versus Steele case, Jimermanian versus Wellsmart. These are some foreign cases. Romano versus Steele case is a case of New York, where a New York personal injury case from September 2010, in which the court duly granted the defendant access to the plaintiff's current and historical Facebook and MySpace accounts, as well as pages, including pages that have been deleted and have relevant information, even though the information was, you can say, not found publicly, not available. This was allowed due to the reason that her Facebook profile showed her smiling happily in a photograph outside the confines of her house, even though she claimed that she sustained injuries and was principally confined to her bed. The court then ruled that giving the plaintiffs the permission to take the defense of self set privacy control on a website, the main purpose of which is to enable the sharing of information about how they lead their social lives. This in turn risks depriving the opposite party of access to the material that may be applicable to ensure a fair trial. The court reasoned that there is no exception of privacy irrespective of what privacy settings were used. Another important case is Zimmerman versus Walmart, which was a personal injury case as well. In that case, it was recognized that there was content that was privately protected content, which stands relevant to the case based on public information shown on the plaintiff's Facebook page. The Facebook page of the plaintiff showed that his interest, including riding and bikes stands, and also displayed recent pictures of the plaintiff with a black eye and his motorcycle after an accident. The court then ruled in favor of the defendant and gave them the permit to discovery, and they gained access to the non-public segment of the Facebook page of the plaintiff along with his MySpace account. This was done in order to refuse the charges of permanent injury to the health and wellness of the plaintiff. Now, the problem is that the social media companies are less than cooperative in the court matters. Many a time, people posting a Facebook or other platforms are doing the posting themselves, so it is frequent. That is what causes the problem. The problem lies in getting the company to provide access to the user data so you can prove that the person Facebook is not Indian company. So getting a Facebook representative to turn over information is where the difficulty arises. That's all about the impact, and we can say the problem is that social media companies are not less are very less cooperative in the court matters. That is the main difficulty. Social media posts that serve as evidence can possibly be of a great importance, as social media posts that when we think of the purpose of social media post may serve as civil or in a criminal case. Social media posting have been previously used, as we saw, above and can meet a person's claim in court that may have been otherwise difficult to prove. The difficulty with the social media evidence is ensuring that there is enough evidence presented to validate and uphold the posting to be what it claims to be. As the fundamental rule of admissibility of any evidence is its relevance to a given case, and if this principle is applied to a case where social media is in question, then the admissibility will no longer be a problem in a court of law. That's all. Thank you.